Well, it's been a while. Welcome one, welcome all to another Route Pros vlog. It's 2021 and, a lot of stuff going on. And so we've been a little bit silent at Route Pro Nation, mainly because we're starting to collect all this data that we've been researching and investigating and looking into and everything, whether it's from wash dry fold to route systems to just whatever we have to make these necessary adjustments. Well, stay tuned for my top 10 list. This is my BP list, my top 10 BP list, these must-dos you must have in place to be successful in 2021. Welcome everyone to my top 10 BPs for 2021. As we look into this, I'm going to sit there and kind of tell you to evaluate your current situation. Take a look at what's going on around you. See if you're doing some of these things already or not well enough, or make the necessary adjustments to make it happen. So the first BP, number one, be profitable. Now, one of the things that's happening through the years before COVID, it was amazing how many people were looking at doing routes and just looked at it as a cost. In fact, I just took a call just recently, and I was talking to this individual, and he's like, well, that's going to cost me more money to do routes. But when he doesn't look at the big picture, the ultimate BP that is not in my top 10 list, and look and see how profitable routes are. The problem is now with COVID, there's been this major shift of being profitable to just try to service anybody that we can and get whatever dollar we can, thinking that the top line growth will add to the bottom line. And we all know that's not true. So be very careful what you're doing right now, because if you're not measuring your costs, which probably now more than ever is more important than ever, you aren't going to be profitable. And thus you could throw yourself into a worse situation thanks to COVID or thanks to your own undoing. So number one, be profitable. Number two, be proactive. We always were kind of reactive in this industry, and last year was the ultimate reaction, and we had no choice. We didn't know whether to cut our hours. We didn't know whether to cut our routes or cut our staff. We didn't know whether production should go to 3 days a week. So we did all this stuff, and we had to. And then we got PPP money, and then we had social unrest, and then we had the election, and we had everything go wrong, including the Chiefs losing the Super Bowl. I won't even talk about that. But we have got to get back to this proactive nature. I love the definition of proactive. If you look it up, it's kind of cool. It says something like, I'll just put it up here on the board, and I'm not going to read it because I can't remember it, but you can see what the definition is. And that's pretty cool about planning ahead and kind of control. I love that idea of control. Controlling your own destiny. It's very important that you look at that. And so whether it's determining your next area of attack for routes or closing a store, and instead of just waiting for things to happen, be proactive. Number three, be prepared. A little different than being proactive. Being prepared, and what I mean by this is growth. A while back, I posted something, I think it was in January, on a forum about, are you prepared for growth? And I got lambasted by many. And that tells you, if you lambasted me, that tells me you're not prepared for growth. In fact, you're probably not doing step two, and you're being overly reactive and just waiting for something to happen. But what we've seen stores close, we've seen stores merge, we've seen people cut their hours, we've seen other people's routes grow, or even their stores grow, and they're not prepared for it. So then they get this big influx of new customers or win backs, people coming back, and they can't handle it with production. And then the customers go, well, wait a minute, I thought you were slow. So again, be prepared for growth. And, whether it's operational strategies, marketing plans, or whatnot, Be prepared. Number 4, I love this one, be plowing forward. I know some of us have been dealing with snow and ice, but we should be plowing forward. One of our mottos this year is either move forward or move on. You know, if it's time for you to go, go. If it's time for you to grow, grow. But you should be plowing forward, whether it's route strategies or operational strategies. And really, again, kind of, you know, encapsulate these top 3, you know, being prepared and being proactive and also being profitable. But let's move forward. You know, we can keep holding on to 2019 and 2020. We can keep combining everything and saying, well, 2019 was great. That's what it'll be again, or 2020, or it's not going to. Whatever you're at mindset-wise, let's just move forward. Let's not sit there and forget what's going on. Let's learn from it. Let's get creative. Let's also get productive. So number 4, again, plow forward. Number 5, be productive. And what I mean by that is evaluating your current efficiencies or even deficiencies. Look at it from a production standpoint. Look at it from a tagging in. But look at it from your routes. There's been a lot of people moving a lot of customers to on-demand. I just got off. It was great. I love today. I was talking to somebody that was so pro on-demand before COVID that it was ridiculous. And now they've actually shifted gears. They've actually talked about how they realize finally that it's not as profitable and it's not as productive to be zigzagging all over the place instead of having a route strategy. So look at your systems. Look at your point of sale. If your point of sale is causing you a headache still, it's time to change. There's a lot of people that hold on to their point of sale and they're afraid to shift, and I'm not here to tell you where to go and what to do. But there's so many people that we take calls from that complain about their point of sale, not making the necessary adjustments or changes or moving into the 21st century, and yet they stick with them because it may be cost. And I look at this, if your point of sale is making your life harder instead of easier, it's time to change. So again, productivity all around, that can help you out. Number 5 BP is really be looking for potential, to be potential, but that looks for your current hires or even some of your staff internally. Too often we don't look at potential. We kind of hold on to people's negativity, or we allow them to stagnate. They get complacent, especially in 2020. A lot of employees got used to it being slower, and now that things start to change, they don't like it that they have to work a little bit harder. But be looking for potential, especially now. You know, unfortunately, when it comes to hiring, a lot of people keep giving me the excuse that I can't find good people. And I just get tired of hearing that, because there's a lot of good people out there. In fact, some of them work for you. Some of them are also listening to this call. So, you know, that kind of leads into what I talk about next for BP, is being evaluating your personnel right now. You know, take a look at what they're doing. This is another step, another BP. You have to look at your personnel. Are you getting the most out of them, or are they getting the most out of themselves? You know, quite often I'm always like, okay, you know, we've got people that are kind of have this unlimited, untapped potential, but we don't evaluate their current situation. We don't tell them they can get better. So again, this is why I think we have to look at personnel and evaluate, whether it's route potential, which goes back to the previous BP, or we just look at the fact that maybe they're not performing at a level we need them to. You know, unfortunately right now, I mean, I've been preaching this for years, but COVID changed everything. It kind of magnified things that we said. It was like, you know, all the things we recommended instead of even the must-dos, it was like this megaphone going, you must get more out of your drivers. And so now you have to, your drivers have to do more than just drive, which leads me to the next BP, be rewarding performance. You know, reward that performance, be rewarding, but be, you know, if they are performing at a level here, there's a lot of employees and counter staff and production and route and managers who raised the game, raised the bar during COVID. In our own situation here at DCDU, our general manager, we pretty much promoted her to general manager. She went from here to here. And I don't think DCDU or route predictive, we would not be where we're at if it wasn't for her. And I rewarded her for that. Even though the money wasn't there, I didn't really get a lot of PPP help. But I rewarded her. And as it's turned out, she has reciprocated and given us more and took on more so that I can still focus on doing what I do right here. And that's consulting. So be rewarding that. The second to last one, be positive. We have to be positive. You know, unfortunately, we have this negative aura around dry cleaning. You see it on forums. Again, going back to where I said be prepared and the lambasting, some of the people that even called me and said, you have the gall to say that. understanding, yes, I know your situation isn't good, but it doesn't mean it isn't bad. It just means it's not great. Reverse the curse. Let's do something about it. One of the mottos we have is check your blood type daily at Route Pro University and Route Pro Nation. And we talk about, B positive or A negative. And, it's kind of amazing. Those that have a positive mindset, whether it's with their staff or with even the industry itself, they tend to do this during bad times, while others continue to drop. And I've seen it. This is my 20th year in the industry, and we continue to see people, just talk about the doom and gloom of our business. I met with somebody who's for sale, and, I was just listening to them, and they're saying the volume's never coming back, and nobody's going to work. And I'm just like, I just don't want to hear it. We have so much to offer. And again, it's about margins and market share, which leaves me with my last BP, which I think might be the most important of all of them. You might have forgotten the rest of them. You may not have written them down, but I want you to write this BP. Be personal. What's really, really sad is we've taken customer service, the one thing that our industry kind of is the glue that's always held it together, and we've automated it almost too much. And we're thinking that that's a good idea to maybe save costs, but I don't think it'll save your business. I don't think it'll save you customers. Too often I see it. Think about when you call some 800 number, you're trying to chat online, and it's automated, and it doesn't even come close to the simple question or concern you have, and then it just goes to no, and then you're done, and you're aggravated. We're losing customers because they're just discouraged, but our automated point of sale maybe creates this conversation that's not personable. That's why even text reminders, I'm still fighting a lot of point of sales. It's the same text. It's no longer personal. It's just this robotic same text that they start to kind of say, I don't want to hear it anymore. Change it up a little bit. Be personal. Make phone calls. Make face-to-face contacts. Face-to-face isn't in your face. Make these things that make it look like you are in business because you want to serve them, you want to help them, and you are there for them. Instead of saying, send us a text or send us an email and we'll get back to you to 24 or 48 hours. Again, very important. I think it's the ultimate BP that we might have removed from the equation even before COVID, but now even moving forward. So that's my top 10 BPs. Here's a rundown of them. Taking notes, give us a call. I hope this helps you with some simple must-dos. Evaluate your current situation and see if you're missing one. And if you need some help, don't hesitate to call us. Good luck, guys.